Okay, welcome to our session, Implementing Project Online. I think it's a little bit too loud, or? Okay, good, thank you. Implementing Project Online at a multinational company in Switzerland. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Matthias Jäger. I'm Director of TPG in Switzerland. And I want to speak as a customer to you where we implemented Microsoft Project Online very fast in the last year, starting in May timeline when Project Online came to the market. And I want to speak a little bit as a customer. I'm here as the customer. I want to speak a little bit about some aspects in the next 20 minutes. This is only a focus session, so we only have 20 minutes to go for the session. So I want to speak a little bit about the initial position. Why does the customer want to go with Project Online? What are reasons for that? What are the initial positions and the past action items that they took with Microsoft Project? What are the considerations and the implementation and outlook onto the future? So the initial position is we started with Microsoft Project at that company earlier, already in 2005 and 2006, where we implemented Microsoft Project, where we implemented some templates, where we took some trainings, but only with the normal standard fat client of Microsoft Project. So the PMO, the Project Management Office of that company, is a centralized team where some project managers took over the responsibility for all the schedules, for resource management, for a lot of other action items. So we have a centralized project management office in this organization. It's a research and development department, and they support internal projects that run in the organizations and in teams. The tool that was used was Microsoft Project 2003 and 2007 in the past, before they decided to go on with Project Online. So it was used for normal project structuring, so all the outlines in a project that you have to do, schedules, milestones, responsibilities, and reports and documentations were normally done by files that were stored on a file server, on a central server. Due to different locations in Switzerland, Germany, and also in the US and all over the world, a lot of issues happened with network traffic, with file sharing, so all the stories that perhaps you know, if project documents are saved in normal file storage and not on web-based servers. Normal reports were done as status reports directly in a Word format, so it was rolled out or was sent out by project managers to all stakeholders as normal reports via email directly to stakeholders. So that was the initial position. And the company came to us and said, we have to improve something, we have to be better, we have to offer offline work, we have to offer such project online and cloud solutions to our users, where we want to go on with some more and future-oriented systems. And the considerations were, and some arguments for cloud-based solutions were, on the one hand side, technical. So we asked the internal IT department, okay, can we implement Project Server and SharePoint Server internally? The IT department said, yes, yeah, can be, but come back in 2 years or 3 years when we are perhaps on next version of Windows Server. We are currently on Windows XP and Vista clients. That was in the last year and still this year. They will upgrade to Windows 7 this year. So that was the first restriction. I come to it a little bit later. What does it mean? The business said to us as their considerations, we want to quick and fast deploy it. And when we hear the IT department first, we said, well, it could take 1 or 2 years until we have to implement, until we can implement Microsoft Project Server internally if we go on with an internal on-premise installation. And license cost, we took over the job to compare internal license cost for an on-premise solution versus the Project Online license cost. So this was a big argument to Project Online. I will also to come back for all these things on the next slides. and the support organization. So the internal IT support and PMO support was not able to take over an on-premise installation, also with the handover or second-level support of the partner. They said to us, no, it cannot be done that we have to take over the internal support organization, so we want to outsource it to Microsoft as the infrastructure service, as Project Online partner, and to us as a partner for the customization. So the technical things, some technical restrictions that we found out when we started also to implement the Project Online and the internal implementation, was that that you have to be aware of the client machine operating system. So, for example, when you want to install the Project Professional for Office 365 on a Windows XP and Vista, it's not available and not doable. There are a lot of white papers in the internet, but you have to be aware that it's not possible to install it directly on that machines. Also, Internet Explorer 9 or 10, that was at the customer side due to some other policy restriction, is best. So Internet Explorer 8 or 7 version isn't so good. And we then started to go on with the Project Professional for Office 365 and tried to install it also with the last point here on a separated terminal and Citrix server environment. But this is also not possible when you install it as a streaming client. So you have to be aware of it, that you have to install the full version of Project Professional if you want to have it on an internal terminal server. Or you have to go on with Windows 7 on all these machines to run it as the streaming client, as the click-to-run streaming client. And the next point that I put out here was that the customer thought sometimes that Project Professional for Office 365 is a full web-based Project Professional client, and this can be run directly in the Internet Explorer window. This was a big, let's say, a big mistake or a big misunderstanding sometimes. That sometimes users and also the customer thought this can be done directly web-based. Everything is web-based when I buy this product as an Office 365 service. So these are some points and some also technical restrictions where we went through with the customer. So we decided to go on with some Windows 7 test implementations where we can run directly our Project Professional for Office 365 on it. And the last point was there were some requests for reporting. SQL Server reporting services was the tool that was chosen to really run some reports. So we have chosen then to run this one, the SQL Server reporting services later under perhaps sometimes Windows Azure, or as we heard already 2 days ago or yesterday, with some internal server with integration services in the first quarter or in the next month when it will come out. So these were some considerations that we took over from a technical point of view. The business considerations and some requirements of the business that came up from customer side were they wanted to focus first on an operational project portfolio management. So they want to see the list of all projects, these typical things, to see what are all my running projects, what are my planned projects in future, how can I filter them by department, by status, by quarter, or by year, or by other aspects. And they wanted to provide some visibility and transparency for all their programs. This is an often discussed point, visibility and transparency, because when you have this transparency, sometimes the users and the stakeholders will say, oh, I don't want to see all these results in my portfolio. I don't want to see all these projects, all the status. So this is an often discussed point that we saw, that this must be discussed, what is visible, what is transparent for all users, for selected users, for the portfolio managers. But this was the first point, or the main point that we run. A list of all running planned projects, including all the schedules and only generic resources. That was also a first point, because one of the requirements were also it must be fast and must be quickly implemented. And if you go on with a detailed resource management or named resource level, we thought it's better to start first with generic resources, and then later, if in Europe we have a lot of times this option that team managers or resource managers should take over the job to assign named resources to projects, that we start first with generic resources for the project manager, and then later, sometimes in this year or in some months, we can take over the job to also put in named resources done by the team manager or resource manager. High-level cost planning on project level and business intelligence, of course, is one of the next things that were required for this implementation. And a really deep usage of SharePoint sites, especially for all these documents that were stored earlier in a lot of different file locations, which cannot be directly searched, which cannot be tagged by categories. So documents, save all the documents related to projects, also issues, risk, and other lists in the meaning of some open item lists or possibilities to start to make some notes or to track some goals of your project, for example. So, and the deployment and implementation, that were also some business requirements, should be done, first prototype should be done really quick and fast deployed, and as a step-by-step approach. So step-by-step, the meaning of we will have a short implementation cycle. We will implement, for example, first the first level of project portfolio management, and then in the next level resource management, next level perhaps cost management, and so on. So step-by-step approach was a used implementation process here, to not start in half-year analysis phase and then in half-year design phase and the next half-year implementation phase. So step-by-step, have it in circles, so that we are able to deploy in more or less now 9 months a first set of project online functionalities directly to the users. Another consideration or also requirement from the customers, and now it will become a little bit more technical, but I wanted to show this to you, is the easy-to-use project professional user interface. Interesting for you, perhaps. I think you know it. Clear guidance, and we call it clear guidance and less training with streamlined adapted ribbon. So in the meaning of, I have to put out the customer name here due to some internal aspects, but you can replace it with your name. So as you know, Microsoft Project has this task, resource, report, project tab, and we got a lot of times this feedback. This is really good. It's really detailed. But if I use Microsoft Project only on a monthly basis, perhaps to directly go into and adopt my timelines and put in some more milestones, it's sometimes hard to use because I don't find exactly the right point. And one feedback was exactly also this really, really easy to use open, save, close button, the 3 buttons directly near to it. Perhaps, as you know, the open is directly in the quick access toolbar. The save, I think, is also there, but publish must be under file and then publish, and close, I think, is also under file and then close. So it's sometimes too hard for the users and some clicks away that they really can easily use this product. So the idea is to put in all the necessary things that a user, a normal user, will use, like this open, save, close, the info. By info means the project information dialog. A link, only a hyperlink directly to the project web app site, because users sometimes search, where is my project web app site? I don't know exactly the URL. I don't have a bookmark in my Internet Explorer. I want to jump immediately in. Build the project team from the enterprise resource pool. Plan resources will directly pop up a detail window where you can plan your resources. Some different views, indent, outend, often ask, show all tasks, and so on. And these are some macros with go to task, jump to it. Now this is the original one, but this is a macro go to today. I think it's not an out-of-the-box functionality that you directly jump to the current date in your timeline, for example, and so on. And this larger, smaller, a little bit customized with months, weeks, days, so in predefined steps. And this is a little bit more technical, but this is an outcome if you get the slides or the video of the conference, that you can see how easy it is. It's really easy with this customized ribbon, so you don't have to make notes. You will get all these things. So it's really easy with this ribbon XML and Active Project says custom UI at the end, where you can directly run your own streamlined ribbon. And this is a big advantage that we see, because we will directly run trainings only based on this ribbon. The users, of course, can use all the other details of Microsoft Project, but they run it directly only. The training will be run directly on the ribbon from left to right in 2 or 3 hours. It depends on, of course, of your knowledge in Microsoft Project. Some cost considerations of this customer. This one-time initial high cost for an on-premise solution versus monthly and recurring costs for Project Online. So we discussed this with the customer, really high and detailed, also with some break-even points. So what does it cost when I implement it for more than 200 users on-premise versus Project Online? And we tried to put it down to some slides. What are the directly different target audiences? So on the first hand, we have Project Online with the Project Web App for project team members and all the stakeholders. Second one is the Project Professional for Office 365 for project and resource managers, and Project Online with Project Professional for Office 365. So these are 2 different licenses that you can subscribe. So you have to be aware of it. What are my Project Web App users? What are my Project Professional users, including Project Online? And are there perhaps only project and resource managers that only have to use Microsoft Project? So mostly we use this Project Web App license and the Project Online with Project Professional for Office 365 license. So we came to the conclusion that recurring monthly single licenses can be directly ordered. You can choose if you want to have it by a year or by a month contract, also different pricing available, so you have to calculate all these things. Or you can order it directly via your Microsoft Enterprise Agreement. Can be a challenge if you go to your large account reseller and directly order it. There was, in the last year, a 200 seats promotion where this pricing for Project Online went down for more than 20% for this customer. So they ordered now more than 200 seats as a promotion because this promotion was there, and more than 20% promotion price was there. And the new one that we found out yesterday, this $7 per user month license for Project Lite, is really interesting for the customers. I inserted this in my latest slides when it came out yesterday. So this is really interesting because it will reduce the pricing, I would say, by more than 15 or 20% again for all the users. And versus the on-premise software installations that you have to consider, Windows Server, SQL Server, there must be a license. SharePoint Enterprise Edition, Project Server must be there. The Project Web App CAL, SharePoint Enterprise CAL as a client access license. Project Professional, including PWA client access license. So high initial cost. And we found out that the break-even point was here after 5 years plus for approximately 300 users. So this is the roadmap for this customer to go on the next in the next 2 or 3 years with 300 users. So after 5 years, the break-even was there with from a license cost perspective. So they made the selection that, of course, Project Online is the best solution currently for them without implementing it internally. There were no discussions about security and safety of documents that were stored in the cloud. Of course, it's an often discussed point, but the most discussed point was really the license cost, where we spent a lot of time on it. Last point is the support consideration. So the responsibility for infrastructure is given to Microsoft. We found out that also reaction time, availability of support is really good. We had 2 support issues where we get reaction times in, I would say, in minutes. It was less than 1 hour. The reaction time was really good when we had these 2 issues. on the project online client. And the partner is responsible for the customization, configuration, administration, and also the tenant administration. So customer gave it to really directly to us as a partner to administrate and support all users in there. Currently, we don't run an Active Directory integration. Will be perhaps provided next year. So currently, we have to directly enter usernames in the system. But the administration interface is really fine also for that. So there were some considerations to outsource everything, to have more or less everything outsourced for partners or to Microsoft. Outlook on the future, what will come next? There will be a rollout to 200 plus users in different countries in 2014. That's a plan that we currently have. Currently, we have it implemented for nearly 25 users, but we will start now the rollout for 200 plus users. By end of the year, we think we can reach these 300 users. We will do a case study in Switzerland in the second quarter. This is currently planned in 2014, so will be available as a written document, also I think in English language. That's the current plan. Implement Power BI for Office 365 or Project Online to have some more availability of reports, especially reporting services reports. And implement or finalize this implementation with Windows Azure or an internal server. There were some thinkings about having an internal server. And provide recurring training and feedback sessions to users that they are getting trained. So that's, I think, an important point to get feedback from the users, especially the project professional users, that they are have the feeling to really be supported internally with their processes from the PMO and technical from us as a partner or another internal person to be really supported. It's a big point that I see a lot of times that this must be a recurring process for every customer, independently if it's project online or project server on premise. Okay, that's it. I think 20 minutes are gone. Yeah. Thank you. Are there any questions? No? Okay, thank you.